What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Setup Wars. Today we're going to be looking at some more setups. Obviously. I'm running out of intros, as you guys can probably tell. But I mean, at least I shaved, right? Looked pretty good, I think. Just cue the intro. TechSource Season 6 mouse pads are officially here. If you guys want to snag one, make sure to visit dealsource.tech/store or just click the link below. Kicking off the episode is Adriane's very clean gaming setup. He's currently a student from the Philippines who's also a pro Valorant player, so this is the setup he uses for schoolwork and competitive gaming. Starting with the foundation, it's a custom-built desk out of hardwood with a white gloss finish on the top to complement the color scheme he was going for. So he games on the 240Hz BenQ monitor, while the vertical monitor is for multitasking and Discord. The LG 4K TV he has hooked up on the wall is mostly for watching content. So what does a pro Valorant player use for peripherals? Well, he uses a GMMK Pro with tangerines and a Final Mouse Starlight 12 Phantom. That's a really nice combo. For music and watching content, he uses the Edifier speakers, but for gaming, he swaps over to the Cloud Flight headset with a dedicated Quadcast S microphone. You can definitely tell the setup is all about business. I mean, there's a single Funko Pop and an album on the speakers, but that's about it when it comes to personality. Cables are, however, managed very well. We got a long raceway in the back to help channel the wires and what appears to be his Wi-Fi router attached to the wall. The PC powering it all is a beautiful custom build inside the O11 Dynamic XL. It's packing a Ryzen 7 5800X and a Gigabyte RTX 3080. Definitely has enough juice to push at least 240 FPS in Valorant. It's a very straightforward setup, if I'm being honest. I would love to see you personalize it just a little bit more so it stands out from the rest. But either way, it's a very clean setup. Thank you, Adriane, for starting off the show. Okay, the only reason I'm including this in the episode is because I think you guys would find it fascinating. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it leaves you all stumped. I think we can all agree that this is one unique setup. This is the type of setup I would imagine a lumberjack owning in the middle of the woods. Somewhere so deep that IKEA cannot deliver to, which means the only solution to build your setup is to use the nearby environment. In this case, lots and lots of wood and steel. That's right, the tabletop is supported by steel frames that Benedikt also custom made himself. The setup took a full year to complete for the purpose of gaming and schoolwork. So he games on a 240Hz Alienware and has two additional monitors for multitasking that are mounted against the wall, and I'm just realizing that the wall is also custom made out of wood. This man is dedicated. I also like the custom stuff he made out of wood, like the shelf for his headset, a shelf for his PC. We got some picture frames of Corsair for some reason, one of which has RGB. I mean, I don't know what it is, but something tells me he likes Corsair. I've got a weird feeling about that. It's almost as if this setup belongs to someone who works at Corsair, but Ben is only 16, so that can't be possible. By the way, did you do all this by yourself, Ben, or did you get some help from your dad? Because if you did this by yourself, I'm very impressed. The setup surprisingly isn't powered by wood. We have a budget custom build inside the Corsair 570X, and it's packing the Ryzen 5 5600X and an RX 480. To be honest, I do like the unfinished wood look of this setup, but it's looking a bit stale. I feel like you should include some plants, maybe some greenery somewhere to complete the nature theme. I don't know what this obsession of Corsair is about, but I think the Corsair sign on the wall is a bit overboard. I just feel like you're doing a bit too much and the setup feels like more of an advertisement. Regardless, this was a very unique and different setup than we normally see on the show. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Alexa, turn on lights.
Now that is how you power on a setup. He's even got the rest of the lights in his room synced up to Alexa so that he doesn't have to lift a finger. I absolutely love the presentation of this setup. It's really cool what he did with those Govee glide bars, by the way. We normally see them in either a horizontal orientation or an L-shaped design, but David took a much different approach by going vertical to outline the posters on the wall and to add some really cool lighting to the setup at the same time. So David is a design student from Singapore that took 3 months to build a setup for gaming and productivity. He does everything on a single 34-inch Asus monitor that he hooked up against the wall, and below that we got the custom Tofu 65 build paired with a Logitech Pro X mouse. Everything is nicely organized under the monitor with clean cable work behind the desk and into multiple raceways. He did such a good job with the cable management considering it's a sit and stand desk. which by the way is the first time I'm seeing this particular model on the show. The controls are actually on top of the desk, which gives off this really cool sci-fi look. It looks like he stuck to that same theme and added his very own Qi charger by installing the base underneath the desk. This way he achieves the clean wireless look while still being able to charge his phone from the top. Very clever. Moving on to audio, we got a pair of big boy Kanto speakers with a sub underneath that he uses for music or watching content, but when he's gaming, he slaps on the Arctis headphones and brings in the Rode Pod mic for comms. Usually you don't see people with both a light bar and a webcam on the same monitor, but David was still able to make that happen by simply mounting the webcam above the light bar. Who says you can't have both? David does use a Mac Mini for editing pictures and videos, but the setup is powered by his custom water-cooled build inside the O11 Mini Snow Edition. This thing is a beast, by the way. It's rocking a Ryzen 9 5900X with a Palette RTX 3080, very clean runs into the distro plate on the right side, by the way. I also love the custom monitors he included in the build. There's a 7-inch in the back and a 14-inch in the front that's mostly used for aesthetics, looking really good. Speaking of which, this setup is aesthetically beautiful. Okay, I love the choice of colors, the decorative pieces, and the small mods. Everything just blends in harmoniously. His entire bedroom is a vibe and I'm loving every bit of it. Is he using two of my favorite colors together? Yes, but that doesn't change the fact that he knows how to decorate a place. His occupation as a design student definitely reflects in this room. Thank you, David, for blessing our eyes today. Up next is Denis, who was previously featured on episode 161 back in February 2019, and since then has made some really big upgrades, so he decided to come back on the show. People from the GTA 5 community probably know him better as Ice VIP. Apparently he is well known for his work on the Natural Vision Evolved graphics trailer, which currently has over 4 million views. That's what Denis pretty much uses the setup for, only to create trailers and advertisement for mods inside of GTA 5. Looks like he picked up 3 new 27-inch monitors and a 55-inch OLED TV up top. He did stick to the same peripherals and the speakers, but he mounted the speakers on the wall, which looks so much nicer in my opinion. The wall doesn't look so empty like it did before. The only change I'm not too excited about is the new location of the PC. He put it flat against the wall, which ends up being blocked off by one of the monitors. You know, there was plenty of space on the right side to squeeze in the PC, so I'm curious why he didn't do that instead. It's got a hell of a spec sheet too, a 10980XE that's been overclocked to 4.6 GHz and an RTX 3080 Ti. It's nice to see a big improvement over the last setup 3 years ago. Thank you, Denis, for coming back on the show. Wrapping up the episode is another triple monitor setup. Edvin from Sweden finally convinced his parents to join the show. Welcome to Setup Wars, Edvin. He's obviously still a student, but he upgraded and built the setup all by himself from saving money over the past 4 years. We got ourselves a little hustler here. He games on the center 27-inch 165Hz monitor and uses the other two for multitasking and schoolwork. For peripherals, he kept it simple by going wireless, and for audio, he's using Amazon Basic speakers and the Cloud Alphas for gaming. The mic location, however, is a bit sus, my guy. Why is it tucked away in the corner behind your PC? Does the mic even reach your face? I don't have any complaints for the cable management. Looks like everything is under control, but the PC powering the setup has some interesting specs. There's a Ryzen 9 5900X paired with an RTX 2070. I think the CPU might be a bit overkill with the 3070, unless you're planning on upgrading the graphics card very soon to like a 3080 Ti or higher. There's definitely some GPU bottlenecking present here. Edvin also has a second setup right behind him for guests or friends that come over to play co-op games with. The setup basically gets all the hand-me-downs from the main setup after a nice upgrade. So here are my 2 cents on the setup if this was mine. You told me to give you as much improvement comments as possible, so here they are. I think you did your best to improve the look of your setup, but some things are just out of our control, like the radiator and the pipe sticking out in the back. I know you modified the desk so it goes around the radiator, but it's still visible and it affects the look of your setup. Adding some nanoleaf panels up top is a good try to distract the viewers a little bit, but it's not really a solution. If you really want to give this setup a makeover, I would add a headboard. It's not that hard to do, and you get a clean slate to start from, and you can customize it any way you want without anything getting in the way. If you're gonna do this, make sure you're not blocking off the radiator so that the heat can still escape from the top, and find a way to remount your monitors against the board. It's not an extremely simple mod to do, but definitely doable. If you can pull it off, your setup will look 10 times better. Again, this is just my 2 cents. This is what I would do if I were to give this setup a makeover. So regardless, thank you so much, Edvin, for sharing this with us. If you do decide to upgrade your setup, make sure to come back on the show. I'm sure a lot of us would like to see the transformation. So this begs the question, which of these setups was your favorite from today's episode? If you guys are enjoying the new style of Setup Wars, do show some support by tossing a like before you head out. And if you're new here, consider subscribing because I do host Setup Wars every single Monday. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in the next one.